Yo, 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 yo.
My name is Bobbito Garcia, aka Cool Bob Love.
Stretch Armstrong with a dash of Cadbury.
You're listening to Jigga Juice with Tomer Gersherman.
Gersherman.
Rocket, homeboy.
Stretch and Bobbito of the legendary Stretch and Bobbito Show. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Thanks for doing the interview.
Let's hope it goes well.
Anything can happen. So, congratulations for the documentary. Very excited to see it.
Well, we started it in 2014, completed it in a year and a half, and we released it here in the United States with various theaters playing it, and we have already been traveling with it. We have a tour where we're doing premieres in certain cities, as well as after parties where both me and Stretch are DJing. The worldwide digital release is October 22nd from stretchandbobbito.com.
Go check it out. But let's go back. How did the Stretch and Bobbito Show start?
Well, I was a student at Columbia, and when I found out they had a radio station, I got very excited about the prospect of being on the radio in New York City, which is kind of a far-fetched idea, being that I grew up listening to the radio in New York, and it was such a big part of my formative years, even before I started DJing. Well, you'll see what happened when I try to get a show. It's in the film, so I don't want to spoil it. But basically, it's because I was a student.
And how long was the show in the air?
Well, we did the show together for 8 years, and then Bob kept doing it under a different name, the CM Family Show, until 2002.
And it's amazing to me because my show is also on the college radio, and seeing the effect that you guys made from there, it's amazing to me. But do you guys have any tips maybe for the platform?
Well, I mean, there's no replacement for working hard. We didn't have that successful of a show by accident. A lot of effort went into that from both sides, musically, promotion-wise, marketing-wise. So that would be the advice, to just, try to get it to as many ears as possible and just create the most quality program that's as unique as possible, because then that sets you apart.
And then you didn't have the platforms we have today. You didn't have Facebook and social networks. So how did you do it? How did you push it forward?
Well, I mean, there was a social network back then. It just wasn't on the internet. But, a lot of word of mouth, a lot of, we had printed flyers, a lot of phone calls, fax machines, a lot of hand-to-hand, street promo, and then doing a lot of events as well. Stretch was DJing in clubs. I was hosting unsigned artist events at CBGB's and New York Poets Cafe. So we weren't just college radio personalities. I mean, we were really about the culture, and then that shines.
And these are the two main weekly hip-hop radio shows are both on college stations. Do you think that that platform allows more liberties?
Yeah, of course. We didn't have any... We didn't have a boss. We didn't have a playlist. We didn't have certain metrics and numbers that we had to hit in terms of listenership. So, in that regard, we were very lucky. We could do whatever we wanted. In fact, we were encouraged to do whatever we wanted by the station manager from year to year. So, we just had a green light to do whatever we wanted.
And at one point, you also did a show on Hot 97, right? Did that change the vibe?
No, I don't think it did. In fact, I've been listening to some of those shows this week because I just got a collection of Hot 97 Stretch and Bob tapes, and I've been digitizing them and listening to them. And the shows are great. And it's kind of entertaining how here we are, these guys that are known for being on in the middle of the night, thrown on a commercial station and doing pretty much the same stuff we were doing on WKCR,
minus the curses, but it's still for a very slick hip hop, an R&B station. We were pretty left field. I mean, I've been cracking up listening to these shows and reminding myself, like, wow, we really took it there. Mm-hmm.
And do you listen to today's hip hop radio shows, like guys like Rosenberg or Sway or Big Boy? What do you think is the difference between what they're doing and what you did back in the day?
Well, I mean, you know, and not to sound boastful, but I don't think anyone can ever do what we did ever again. I mean, it was part of an era, and it just won't be replicated. So, but that doesn't mean that people aren't doing special things nowadays and have big followings and helping the culture and helping the industry and helping the artists, and shout outs and big ups to all of them. But yeah, what we did, it's just a very contained in a time capsule.
And you have sparked quite a few careers. My question is, how did you know which names to choose? Did you just see someone and liked it and started playing their stuff and invited them to come on the show? What was the process like when you spotted a new name and you knew you believe in this guy or girl?
Yeah, it was. Our show was for the most part a meritocracy. If we liked your music, you were welcome. I mean, if you were cool as a person and you were a good person, and you know we felt okay inviting you to the station, that helped a lot too. I mean, for the most part, most of the artists that we champion and were affiliated with, you know, possess both of those qualities, and that's really all it was. I mean, you know, a few people snuck in that maybe were just there because they were boys with someone else's boys or boys of ours, but for the most part, you had to be nice.
Are there like guys that you said, nah, then we're gonna make it, and they ended up blowing up?
Sure, there are plenty of artists that were not appropriate for our show that we didn't like that became huge. Absolutely.
Is there anyone from today's MCs that you look at and you wish you could have had them on your show?
No, there's certainly artists that are out now that would have been on our show. I mean, I don't really want to go into detail about who they might be, but there's nobody out now that I'm wishing, damn, I wish we were, you know, more involved in their rollout. It doesn't really, you know, when you've been there and, you know, at Ground Zero with Jay-Z, Pun, Mobb Deep, Busta Rhymes, Brand Nubian, Large Professor, who else? Eminem, Nas, Biggie. You're not really, you know, you're not hungry for much else.
You were there on the radio during the whole East-West Coast beef when it all erupted, right? So what was it like? Did they have an effect on the show, like the vibe or anything? Like people coming on the show and, you know, making all kinds of statements?
I don't think it had any effect on our show because we really came from a pure sort of approach whereby, like Stretch said, we didn't care if you were signed, unsigned. We didn't care if you were from California or from Vermont, you know, Palestine, Ghana. It didn't matter. If you were dope, you got played on our show. So the East-West thing, that was more like for the commercial industry, not for us.
What's the moment you're like the most proud of the show, or just like your fondest memory, or just a random good memory?
I would say on October 22nd, download the film from stretchandbobbito.com, and that answer is like pounded in a beautiful way in the film. And we want to thank you for interviewing us. Peace to everybody out there listening in the worldwide. I imagine you have listeners outside your neighborhood, right? So, but good looking out for the love, man. stretchandbobbito.com. All right, peace.